5% of adults have this problem called excessive sweating. So what does that mean? Is that when Billy would get nervous, he would actually sweat through his clothes. And so I like to call Billy and Randy the lemonade story. When life gives you lemon, you make lemonades. Well, he took this problem and made it into a business. He created t-shirts that stop you from sweating through. And what you're going to see is the secret that they made for distribution for them is SEO. Now, interesting enough, we had an SEO guru that was speaking. Billy and Randy have been able to take a business and make $100,000 a month utilizing SEO and understanding the analytics. So with no further ado, I'm going to have Billy come up here and tell us about Thompson t-shirts.
Hello, ladies and a few gentlemen in here. Although we aren't a women-owned business, I can assure you that both my business partner and I absolutely love women. Side note, Randy was he's sitting here in the front table here. He actually had his calendar up, and his wife was looking behind his shoulder, and it actually said, "Score women with Billy." So here we are. Yes, so that went over well. I think he was sleeping on the couch that night. Right. So I'm going to tell you guys today how we started our business, literally shipping out of my bedroom, and grew it into a $100,000 a month business with customers in over 50 different states and 50 different countries. As Giselle mentioned, necessity was the mother of invention here. This was an issue that I dealt with. There's a condition called axillary hyperhidrosis. Although I've never been diagnosed with the condition, I do deal with it on a pretty regular basis. So not only am I the president, I'm also a client. So I'm actually wearing the product right now, or else that'd be a mess. So one of the early challenges with this product was that we had to actually create the product. So we had to create something that would work. So that was the biggest one. Neither one of us were engineers. So it was just pure human ingenuity and trial and error that we came out with a product that worked. And then the next thing was, okay, how do we find people to test this product? So we reached out to a blogger, an undershirt blogger, and an excessive sweat blogger. And both of them got us our test market. Boom, we got great reviews. People came in and said, hey, the product's working. It actually exceeded Randy and I's expectations on how well the product worked. So from that point, we immediately thought, okay, let's go brick and mortar. So we got in touch with Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's, you name it. It was like 5 big box retailers. I didn't know how big box retail worked. I thought it was quid pro quo, you give them product, they give you money, and then hey, we call it a day. Definitely not the case. So spun our wheels a little bit with that, and then again, the other challenge was basically, okay, if we can't go big box retail, then how are we going to create a distribution path for a product like ours that is a hybrid product? It is a piece of apparel, but it acts as an antiperspirant. So where does it belong? Does it belong in the shelves of apparel, or does it belong in the antiperspirant aisle with all the other big consumer companies? And so, again, we had to figure this all out, and then awareness as well too, because a product like this doesn't exist, people don't know what's out there. So if they don't know what's out there, they have no idea how to search for it. So without any money, because we bootstrapped the business, we had to create some sort of awareness. So that's where we turned our focus to public relations. And so we hired a PR firm and was able to get on a national hit show called The Doctors. And so The Doctors is a daytime television show. There's a doctor on there who actually suffered from the condition. There's actually another very famous doctor who uses our product, but I can't say right now who he is, but I'm sure all of you know who he is. And we have a little clip of The Doctor's episode that we were featured on.
Really quickly, here's a sweater. It's a sweater.
I know, just like the guy you saw.
Unfortunately, we didn't get 40,000 orders the next day. So, you know, but what it did do is it permanently increased our average order count. From that point moving forward, it never came back down. So we did get a lot of press from that. And then we also had a feature in Shape magazine, which a lot of you probably know what that is. And so we actually didn't even start out with a women's product. Randy and I, we developed men's shirts, and women started buying our men's shirts and returning them because the smalls were too big. And so we thought, okay, let's create a women's line. And so that's how we landed in Shape magazine. So from here, we continued to hammer the PR, and we got some additional PR on the Huffington Post, CNBC. So all of that stuff was crucial in driving traffic to our website. And then one other thing, the distribution. So we were distributing through the web. We figured, okay, we'll just set the web store up, people will buy it, try it out, and then we'll end up in some brick and mortar facility. At the time, Randy and I were like, hey, do we want to sell on Amazon? And we're like, no, we're not going to sell on Amazon. Why would anybody buy on Amazon? They can buy it direct from our website. So, yeah, exactly, right? Turned on Amazon, it doubled our business. So we like Amazon. That was huge for us. So that's kind of another way we grew the business, by picking out another distribution path. Right around the time that we were meeting with John and Tom, I had secured us a test market with Rite Aid in their antiperspirant aisle, and it bombed. I guess you can't sell shirts in the antiperspirant aisle. Maybe not in Rite Aid, I don't know, I'm not sure. But around that time, Tom was saying, hey, why are you guys focused on looking at different distribution channels when you have one? And at that time, I think we were on pace to do about $500,000 in sales. And that's when we switched. We said, okay, no more brick and mortar. We're going direct to consumer. The internet is perfect for that because you capture all the customer information and you continue to market them indefinitely as long as you have good products. So we are now solely focused on distributing through the web and through Amazon, and are looking at some other distribution channels that are on the web as well. We also grew our business by adding some products. We started out with a crew neck and a V-neck. We did add the women's line, but before that we added the V-neck. This was all in response to consumer demand. And we introduced a color, which was black, and then our newest product, which is a slim fit that has a little bit of spandex in it, in that whole kind of European vibe. I don't wear one of those, by the way, because I really can't. It's not a flattering shirt underneath. And so, again, grew our business by adding more products, continuing to do hammer home the PR, and then also, cool, okay. And then flash forward to internet marketing. The 5 things are: nothing happens overnight. Content is everything. There's a lot of good tools out there that allow you to manage all this stuff and connect all the pipes and, you know, blast it out to this, blast it out to that. The bottom line is if you don't have anything good to blast out, it's not going to go anywhere. So remember, content is everything. And then there's a concept called inbound marketing, which is just basically increasing your footprint on the web, funneling more customers in to find you. And another great thing about it is all the ROI in your internet marketing is immediately available. So you see it right in there real time. And then it's perpetual. Once you get those hits on CNBC, once you get them on wherever, they continue to pay dividends down the road. So the biggest way SCORE helped us was help us focus. It just helped us get through the clutter and focus. And then the last thing I want to say is the positive impact our product has had on people's lives. We get these testimonials regularly, and unless you suffer from this condition, you don't realize how debilitating it is. But here's a testimony I just would like to read to you guys really quick. It's from a mother, and she wrote, "I would like to personally thank you for your product. It has decreased my son's anxiety and improved his self-esteem. He had previously dropped out of college due to his anxiety with his peers. He is now successfully back in college. He is more likely to leave the house when it isn't required and is slowly rebuilding his social life. To an outsider, my next statement likely would sound melodramatic, but I firmly believe your product literally gave him his life back. I'm sure you hear stories like this every day, but you never hear how you're making a difference in someone's life too often. Years ago, someone told me that a mother can only be as happy as her most unhappy child. Because of the truth in this statement, you have made a difference in not just his life, but mine." Wow. And yeah, that's why we continue to do what we do.